Now an aged, rattling voice speaks to you from behind the blood-stained mask. You are powerless to halt the approach of what is to come. I see a crimson trail leading humanity to its doom. I see the glow of the final dawn, and that means existence has made its choice. A dagger flashes in Aurora's hand. She drives it into the control panel with all her strength. Now you will see it too. A blinding voltaic arc bursts forth from the broken control panel and strikes at Aurora's uncanny mask. Its metal heats up, smoke billows through the bars. With a howl, the cultist collapses. The light is gone. Was that it? The final dawn? But why was it so different from what our teacher promised? Aurora shakes her head blindly. Her voice is now the voice of an ordinary middle-aged woman, frightened and in pain. You will pay for this. You... The woman's body goes limp and collapses to the floor. Her iron mask hits the ground with a dull thud. Pascal examines the corpse with contempt, then concludes dryly, confirming purgation and termination. Heinrich grimaces in disgust. The heretic took her secrets with her. Pity. The motley hues have rejected her, leaving only a grayish-green thread, the noose that the heretic put around her own neck. I have seen this many times before. No one can escape fear itself. Let's see. It's a necromancer black hole void magic. If you squint, one could argue it looks a little bit like a ritualist. I don't think it does. What do you mean? People probably think it's Ellie because it has two parts to it, the orb and the thing around it. Most of the icons have had two parts to it. Some would say the only one that doesn't is Tempest. If you zoom in on the orb, it's slightly deformed with smudges. So my thought was Tyria, so maybe something for Rangers. Hold on, smudges? Hold on, open image in new tab. One sec. So your suggestion here is that this is like the planet? I mean, I love that. I love that suggestion. But two, I think that that's just the art style. I think it's just the art style. I love the idea, though. Heinrich approaches Aurora's body and leans over to it. A minute, please, Mukluk. I need no more than a minute. Xenos lore. Inspect the control panel damaged by Aurora. Success. The cogitator is probably well beyond repair, but your attention is drawn away from the sacred machine and toward the dagger sticking out of the control panel. On closer inspection, it turns out to be the lavishly decorated handguard of a sword whose blade has been pried out. Its pommel is decorated with a strange adornment resembling an eye covered by a scaled lid. What remains of the blade is a blue sheen to it, the same tint as Kunrad's weapon during the mutiny on your void ship. This is no human-made object. It was grown from wraithbone, a material favored by the Eldari. As you lean over the shard, you suddenly hear a multitude of voices. They blend together and individual words are distorted as though they are mocking your attempts to grasp their meaning. The nagging whisper is like a burning red scratch of an unholy claw upon your mind. Heinrich, take a look over here. Is this by any chance what you're looking for? Heinrich raises his head, gets up, and makes a wry face as he carefully examines Aurora's weapon. This unholy object is the work of inhuman hands, and judging by the cold I am sensing, it is a tool of the archenemy. I am most grateful for your vigilance, Mukluk. He takes the strange shard out of the control panel and studies it for a few seconds. Curious. He stows the corrupted object away and turns to you. Rogue Trader, on behalf of the Holy Ordos, I thank you for your cooperation and release you from requisition. From this moment on, I'm at your service. I am ready to come aboard your ship and head for Footfall as soon as you deem it possible. That is, if you do not have other business in this system, in which case I am prepared to assist you in its prompt resolution. Removed Aurora's mask. The iron helmet is firmly attached to the heretic's face. Her face is impossible to make out in the darkness behind the bars of her mask. After peering at it for a little longer than necessary, you wonder if for a moment you saw something move. Let us finish cleansing the monastery, Pascal. Executing. Let the Omnissiah-given motive force flow and all obstacles in its path be eradicated. Okay. We got some enemies to loot.
There will be no peace in my wake.
All attacks of opportunity do additional agi bonus damage. A glass prism crafted by the cultists of the Final Dawn belonged to Aurora. If you look through it long enough, your vision begins to deceive your mind, showing what could be instead of what is. Has Muck acknowledged the teaser? Yeah, I need help with that one. It's very vague. A lot of people said Ellie because it looks like a ball. One person said it's Tyria, like it's like, you know, a little globe. Someone said magnets.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
That would be funny if the new element is just magnetism. How does it work anyway? It's dual-wield war horns. You would look like a walrus with two tusks coming out of your mouth. You're just... Yeah. You get the idea. Dart Impulse. The hollowed electrodynamic Synovium greets its savior. Yes, I'm pretty amazing. Alright, Mr. Mattyman. I have scoured this place. I have not found... Let me see. Maybe now that I've done it. Nope, he doesn't say anything now. Alright, I don't want to brute force the thing. You can go ahead and give me the answer. I, too, have fully mapped out this place, as you have. And I also, like you, am not seeing anything that has a hint of the solution of that puzzle. It's 254. Alright. The Omnissiah, from whom the bloody discharge springeth forth. Wait. Holy discharge. I saw the B from Beckoneth and the word Oli, and I said bloody, and my god, that is a much worse sentence. What was the next thing? 5. The arcane key that closeth the circuit. The immortal reason that hath created the spark. Oh, I was just one off. Verily so! A pilgrim who has learned our ways is worthy of the gifts of the enlightened.
They will see.
Arc
Yes,
rifle.
Indeed. They all
Whenever the wielder hits a
will
target with the
see.
arc rifle, they also attack all targets within 2 cells of the main target. Grants 15% critical hit chance and ranged attacks against enemies with less than 50% wounds left.
Watching the lazy handle sacred technology breaks my heart. Figuratively speaking, my cardiovascular augmentation can withstand much more than high blood pressure.
Bolt pistol, last pistol, arc rifle. Hold on, he had a... Hold on. So this thing, plasma overcharge area attack. So this only has single shot, but when it lands, it bounces. Well, all targets, that could hit friendlies. That could possibly hit friendlies. Alright. Let's go back over here. It's some kind of unearthly gizmo that's beyond our comprehension. It's engineer. Mugdell and Tempest already gave me those nightmares. I submit my theory, it's someone spinning with dual maces. I edited the photo to better show it off. The arc rifle is also not a specialty weapon for Pascal's abilities, even though it should be. He does like electric weapons. It is kind of odd that it's not one.
Lies beyond.
Makes me think of the, there was an electric weapon in Helldivers 2. I forget the exact name of it. It was very similar in how it behaved.
Rogue Trader. I was somewhat brusque at our first meeting, and I would like to make up for it by expressing my thanks for your assistance in the electrodynamic Synobium. Your arrival could not have come at a better time.
Yes, I'm amazing.
Thanks to you, I have succeeded in finding the object that brought me to this system in the first place. Now that the weapon of corruption has been seized from the cult, I can satisfy the Lord Inquisitor's wish and travel with you to Footfall, once you have finished your business on Rycat. There is one more thing. The Lord Inquisitor gave me this item some time ago. He must have thought it likely that I would find myself aboard this vessel sooner than he. I was instructed to deliver this device to Lady Theodora. However, given recent events, I believe I ought to present it to you. This is an elucidator, a sacred machine capable of translating the languages of remote and lost worlds into Low Gothic. It can even process Xenos languages to a certain degree. Not without infelicities, but possibly well.
Thank you. The Inquisition's generosity is greatly appreciated.
May the elucidator serve House von Valancius as faithfully as it has served the acolytes of the Holy Ordos up to now.
What do you think will become of the electrodynamic Cenobium?
It all depends on the electro priests who survived the attack. Fortunately for them, the cultists did not manage to seriously corrupt the holy site, partly thanks to the priesthood's efforts. Nevertheless, I would not be surprised if the local explorator fleet decides to audit and purge the damaged units once it hears about what has happened.
What do you plan to do now?
I would like to offer my assistance in resolving your immediate problems. I am aware that the ship suffered considerable losses during the recent mutiny and was damaged by the cultists' actions, and you have lost many valuable officers as well. You are in a difficult situation. I am at your disposal.
I must return to my duties. Heinrichs is about to say something else when he is interrupted by the sound of a Vox signal. Someone is trying to contact you.
Thank you for your time. Please consider me at your complete disposal while I am aboard your vessel.
Congratulations on the victory, your lordship. The entire vessel was impatiently awaiting the news of your expedition's success. The rumors about you not simply saving the Tech Priest Monastery, but actually eliminating the source of the mutiny are spreading like wildfire. The Vox transmissions from across the world speak of nothing else. Governor Medina is expecting you at his command center to discuss matters. We are ready to depart immediately. Just give the order. Doesn't that trigger, like, the end of this act? I think it might. Data Chronicle. The ticking of the clock is too quiet for its bulky size. Level up. Warrior. Strength. Let's see. One thing that I'm curious of, this reads, as long as you have over 90% health, you're immune to blind, disturbed, fatigue, perplexed, slowed, and staggered. What if you go down to 80% health, and then using temporary hit points, you go back to 100? So you have 80% real health and 20% temp health. I don't know if this would kick in. Hey, Monk, have you seen the new post of yours to social media? I have. I'm not sure what to make of it. What do you think? I just saw a wild theory on Reddit about the new subclass. It's Tide Pods. Shut up. Yeah, Monk, they drop another pick. I know, I don't know what it is. I had so many ideas from the helmet. This one, though. It's Ritualist. 10% dodge. You know what? Sure, I'll take 10% dodge. Oh gosh, all the level ups. Perception. Everyone with Ritualist huffing copium. The thing with Ritualist is I can't imagine how Ritualist could be an elite spec and not an entire class. Because if you think about what an elite spec gets, right? It's like a weapon and 4 utility skills, 1 heal skill, 1 elite skill, and some traits. I can't imagine how they could cram everything from Guild Wars 1 Ritualist into that. I mean, they could certainly slice off a portion of it, but... Let's get swift movements. Doesn't really hurt to have that on everybody. Really don't know what to make of that picture, but the speculation's entertaining. They condense Guild Wars 1 Assassin into Guild Wars 2 Thief, so why not? I mean, they're both just people in leather who stab people. It's basically the same thing. Enemies damaged by the Navigator suffer additional warp damage. Ebb and flow, sure. Let's see. Let's see, strength. I guess. I guess strength. Psyker's Psi rating is increased by 1 until the end of combat every time an ally uses a heroic act. That's pretty cool. Oh, Psyker Majoris, new Psi level. We should get that. Weapon skill, perception, I guess weapon skill. Buff for Plasma Melta and power weapons. He did just get a plasma pistol. Stab, stab, lady. Toughness. Whenever the Blade Dancer parries an attack, the number of attacks made by the next Blade Dance is increased by 1. This effect stacks up to agility bonus times. That's not bad. It's not bad. Parry increase. Max health increased by Blade Dancer's dodge divided by 10. Medicae is now determined by weapon skill instead of int. And your Medicae increases your crit damage. Whenever the Blade Dancer kills an enemy, their resolve is increased by 1 till the end of combat. Additional damage against enemies that have a melee weapon. Death from above does double damage to enemies with less than half health. Where's that one that gives more parry? That one. Alright, that's fine. Survivability. And those two aren't in the party right now. Okay. Let's see. Quick shave. And... Wait, what's over here? Goods. Cracked data slate. Goods. Unfinished letter. His chagrin is irrelevant. Voigtvir's mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be irreproachable at, uncovering spies, and this one was a senior officer. I'm not about to discard him. Coonrad has served me too long for his removal to go painlessly to the Protectorate. Besides, he is no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the Von Valancius line when his skills and talents as Master Whisperers are so valuable. Let him, his disheritance, serve as a humiliating yet instructive lesson from which he may yet still learn. Oh. So even before all that happened, I mean, maybe that's motivation for why he did what he did. Imagine they've been showing us weapons since the beginning, which would be funny since one of them would smack people with a helmet. A guitar, a helmet, and a ball. I mean, honestly, it doesn't make great sense. Muck realized there's a possibility that we might not get a new weapon, plus Ritual, I would say, was put in as a flavor for Rev, not as a heavily. Now, Rev, I could see getting more of a Elite spec. Yeah. Alright. We haven't been to the Void Ship yet. I don't think we've been there. Urak 5 was where we got the Navigator. I haven't been to the Astropathic Station. I think that ends this act. The Astropathic Station is dead ahead of the Void Ship. It is motionless. There is lifeless silence across its Vox frequencies. Its lights are out. Even those who have no warp sensitivity can feel the presence of death. It is here lurking in the shadows. All of this makes reading the reports of the ship's astropaths who claim to be hearing an incessant ghostly howl emanating from the station all the more disturbing. Contact the station by Vox. Not responding. Perhaps there's no one left who could respond. Deploy a scout team. The enforcers offered their prayers and proceed to enter the uncanny station. What they saw inside was monstrous. Astropaths upon their thrones, not quite here, not quite now, smudged as it were across time. Servants reliving their horrible deaths again and again, only to be reborn out of ashes and blood into more agony a moment later. The warp manifested itself here, twisting the very nature of existence. The main hall was covered in a crust of psychic ice. A green-robed blind old man sat motionless upon a tall throne. He was quite literally embedded in the ice, yet he was still alive and screaming. Warp lore? Send Zachary Weiss in the station with a squad of bodyguards. Who? Choirmaster Weiss boarded the station in person and proceeded to the choir's hall. He stood silently for hours in front of a man frozen in ice and held a telepathic conversation with him. Master Weiss offered a prayer to the God Emperor and the unfortunate man passed away. Upon returning to the ship, Weiss reverently presented the Lord Captain with a grim trophy, the late choirmaster's amulet, taken from his frozen body after death. You receive Denial of Nightmares. If worn by a psyker, the wearer gains immunity to horrors of the warp. Maybe put this on, Adira? The psychic shriek carrying across the Immaterium has been silenced, but this has brought the crew to no relief. A chilling realization came to the Astropaths when they discovered that the cry was masking a different sound, one even more terrifying and surreal. Oh good, we stopped one psychic scream, now we can hear the others. It was the melody of a cataclysm born from a warp storm of titanic power, so intense that the entire expanse must be able to hear it. It muffles astropathic messages and crawls into psychers' minds, evoking everywhere the same image. A dark, gaping, beastly mouth cleaving the universe in two. Now that the mad choirmaster has finally stopped screaming, the song of the Immaterium has reached the rogue trader's void ship too. Order the station explored. A brief and chilling chronicle of the station's doom was found in the scribe's records. A warp disturbance of monstrous proportions wiped out half of the choir at once, turning the astropaths into living portals through which torrents of the Immaterium's energies poured out. Those who lasted longer bellowed and howled about a black rift that had split the universe into before and after, and a darkness that would devour the Astronomican's light. Astronomican is a psychic beacon that helps navigators to triangulate a course for their void ships through the warp. Burn everything. Void torpedoes shatter the fragile station. One can only hope that the unfortunate souls captured by the warp have perished along with their home. Alright. Not explored. Alright, let's see. So we're up there. I remember what that is. That's a challenging little dungeon type thing. And that might be the prison colony? I don't remember what that is. Don't you have a quest log? Quest log is for when I'm out of ideas. I'm not out of ideas yet. Not explored, unidentified void ship. Augurs notice a large object among the lifeless rocks covering the planet. A void ship, whose signature and origin are impossible to identify from orbit, is resting on the edge of a deep ravine. The hull of the unidentified vessel is severely damaged, rocks around it shattered by the force of the gigantic machine's crash landing. The Augurs haven't detected any vital signs aboard or near the vessel. Admok, psychic ice is generally called warp ice. It looks like multicolored ice. It starts off looking normal frost, but the thicker it gets, the more it goes over into purple, magenta, and blue. The warp disturbance that they are speaking about is the Cicatrex Maledictum, the giant warp rift that was unleashed from the eye when Cadia, with its protective pylons fell. Okay, so the main thing I know about Cadia is it was a planet, and it was destroyed somehow, and there's just like bits of dust floating in space where it was destroyed. And there's lots of people still alive that were from Cadia, and they like to scream Cadia stands when they fight, and that they are like very, very effective in combat. Like they frenzy. They're extremely relentless when they fight. Lord Xenos, send a squad to the planet to explore the void ship. The landing party reports via Vox as soon as they touch down. The colossal void ship before them is covered with spikes. It resembles a morbid beast sculpted from darkness itself, menacingly hanging over the ravine. An experienced veteran accurately determines the origin of the unholy vessel. It belongs to the Xenos race called the Drukhari. Ready to collapse at any moment, the void ship emits long, woeful creak, as if promising to drag along into the abyss below anyone who dares to disturb its slumber. Abelard suggests finding out what Xenos were doing in the Rycat system. Taking heed of the Seneschal's recommendations, the rogue trader orders to send more people to the planet. After 2 watches of hard labor, the workers managed to stabilize the Drukhari void ship. The soldiers who entered the vessel were met with lifeless bodies of Xenos who had died when the void ship crashed. The void ship itself, following its abominable nature, came to life, immediately craving to sate its wicked appetite for human death. The vessel's systems have reacted to the intruders, and senselessly cruel, deadly traps have been activated on all decks. Agility tests succeeded. Monstrous contraptions designed to mince, rip apart, and incinerate their victims took the soldiers by surprise, but were neutralized before the squad suffered significant losses. The soldiers found several curious pieces of xenotech on the sinister void ship, but no data that could shed some light on why it came to the Rhinecat system. Okay, found assortment of barbed needles, shatter shards, venom blades, so we got a poison weapon, a blast pistol, monofilament grenades, and some XP. Requires Drukhari proficiency to use any of that, though. Okay. Alright. Alright, I think I had these 2 flip-flopped. I guess that's the prison colony? We're gonna find out in a second. Yep, prison planet. Alright. Yeah.